Level 0.0. Beneath your feet, the Earth is never truly still. At any moment, tiny tremors, measuring less than 2.0 on the Richter scale, ripple through the crust. These are microquakes. They occur hundreds of times a day, every day, all across the globe. The planet is constantly readjusting itself, releasing tension in near imperceptible jolts. But you don't feel them. Not even animals react. You could be walking, eating, or asleep, and the entire planet might twitch ever so slightly beneath you, completely unnoticed. Seismographs, however, light up like Christmas trees, highly sensitive instruments quietly recording the Earth's breathing. It's like listening to a whisper in the middle of a thunderstorm. The movement is so subtle, it's usually caused by natural settling, volcanic gas shifts, or distant tectonic plate tension releases. And yet, even these tiny jolts tell a story. That pressure is always building. Somewhere. Slowly. Microquakes are harmless, but their frequent occurrence can signal potential for larger activity nearby. If you live in a seismic zone, don't wait. Secure furniture, brace your water heater, and create a simple emergency plan. Think of microquakes as nature's gentle knock, asking, "Are you ready?" Level 1.0 to 1.9. Now the tremors grow just slightly stronger, still often unfelt, but sometimes noticeable under perfect conditions. Imagine you're sitting still on a quiet night and you feel a strange vibration in your chair, almost like a truck passed by in the distance. That was probably a magnitude 1.6. They're more common than you think. In California alone, hundreds occur every day. In Iceland, they're background noise to people who live near geothermal plants. These tiny quakes are more frequent than your morning coffee. Harmless, sure, but not without meaning. At this range, seismic stations easily detect them, and scientists analyze the data for swarms, clusters of tiny quakes that might signal something deeper stirring below. Still, they're not cause for panic. If you're experiencing frequent small tremors in your region, it's time to download a reputable earthquake alert app. Apps like MyShake or Shake Alert LA can give you critical seconds of warning in future events. Early alerts save lives, and the tiniest quakes might just be the first whispers before something bigger. Level 2.0 to 2.9, the first tremble you might feel. You're lying in bed. It's 3:12 a.m. The walls creak, the window rattles just once. You sit up, unsure. Was that your imagination? It wasn't. That was a magnitude 2.5. At this level, earthquakes start to tickle human perception. They're usually short, lasting just a second or two. People near the epicenter may feel them, especially on upper floors of buildings, or if they're very still. Often described as a brief jolt or flutter, they're just enough to startle you, but not enough to prompt action. Sometimes people post about them on social media just to see if anyone else noticed. The phrase, "Did you feel that?" becomes a regional trend. Seismologists monitor these closely, not because they're dangerous, but because a cluster of small ones in the same location could be a precursor to something larger, a foreshock swarm. Keep a small flashlight and pair of shoes under your bed. Why? Even minor shaking can break glass or shift objects. In the middle of the night, you don't want to be barefoot if there's debris. A tiny step today might spare you from injury tomorrow. Level 3.0 to 3.9. The room moves. This is the level where people pause. You're in a meeting, typing at your desk. Suddenly the walls shake, the ceiling creaks, your water bottle ripples. A 3.4 magnitude quake doesn't last long, but it commands attention, especially if it's close. A deep 3.4 inches in the ocean might pass unnoticed, but a shallow one directly beneath your town, you'll feel it. You may hear a dull thud before the shaking starts. Animals might stir, dogs bark, birds scatter. People stop what they're doing and exchange nervous glances. You might even hear a few startled screams or laughter, equal parts fear and adrenaline. No structural damage occurs, maybe a few loose items fall from shelves. But this is where public alert systems kick in, media mentions start appearing, and the word earthquake becomes a trending search term. Create an earthquake go bag. It should include water, snacks, batteries, and first aid. Keep it near an exit. If a three-pointer hits and you realize you're not ready, take it as your warning. Also, Teach kids to drop, cover, and hold on. These drills should become second nature. Level 4.0 to 4.9. Frightening, but not fatal. Now the earth doesn't just shake, it jolts. Bookshelves rattle hard. Ceiling fans sway ominously. People step into doorways, instinctively bracing. You might hear glass crack, see items fly off counters, or even feel your knees wobble. A 4.6 quake is short, typically under 10 seconds, but the violence is undeniable. Older buildings creak dangerously. Lights flicker. Your heart pounds. The sensation is one of raw force, like a giant stomped nearby. This is the level where preparedness starts separating calm from chaos. Emergency calls surge. People run outside. The shaking stops, but the fear lingers. Still, structural damage is rare unless the quake is shallow and the buildings aren't up to code. Anchor tall furniture. Use safety straps for TVs and bookshelves. In a 4.0 plus quake, unanchored items become missiles. And know your safe spots. Beneath sturdy furniture or against interior walls away from windows. Level 5.0 to 5.9. Damage begins. Now the ground is not trembling, it's lurching. You're at home. There's a loud rumble, like thunder underground. Glass explodes, dishes crash. The floor sways beneath you like a boat on stormy water. You struggle to stand. This is a 5.3. Widespread fear erupts. Panic spreads across social media. In populated areas, people pour into the streets. Windows crack, chimneys collapse, power lines fall, water mains burst. Buildings built before seismic codes, they suffer. Schools evacuate, trains halt, airports delay. In rural zones, barns collapse, roads split. Emergency services flood the area, often overwhelmed by calls. In cities, fire alarms scream, sirens wail, elevators stop, people are trapped. This is not a drill. A 5.0 quake can feel apocalyptic if you're near the epicenter, especially in regions unprepared or poorly constructed. You can have hundreds of injuries, especially from falling debris and collapsing ceilings. Know your drop, cover, and hold on drill. Get under a sturdy table. Protect your head. Never run outside during the shaking. Most injuries happen from falling facades or debris. After the shaking stops, check for gas leaks and turn off utilities if needed. And keep a whistle in your go bag in case you're trapped and need rescuers to hear you. Magnitude level 6.0 to 6.9. This is where the earth clears its throat and screams. A level 6 earthquake doesn't gently nudge furniture, it slams it across the room. Buildings designed with older codes, they begin to crack. Unreinforced brick walls, they crumble like overcooked pastry. The ground doesn't just shake, it sways in ways your brain can't compute. Roads split, storefront windows burst outward like popping glass bubbles. Bridges ripple, steel bends but doesn't always return. In urban centers, panic erupts not from the shaking alone, but from the realization that this might just be the beginning. People scramble out of buildings mid-shake, only to find the sidewalk is no safer. Electrical lines whip like snapping ropes, car alarms wail in unison, and water mains rupture beneath the surface. Magnitude level 7.0 to 7.9. Civilization fractures. Now, we're in the big leagues. A level 7 earthquake doesn't just damage cities, it redefines them. Whole neighborhoods are leveled in minutes. Reinforced structures twist and buckle. Elevators snap free inside their shafts. Airports shut down, highways collapse, and hospitals, if still standing, overflow in an instant. During the 2010 Haiti quake, magnitude 7.0, over 220,000 lives were lost. Entire city blocks turned into tombs. Rescue teams raced against time, digging with bare hands before machinery could even arrive. What makes level 7 especially terrifying is the sheer reach. The shaking can be felt hundreds of kilometers from the epicenter. Cities that thought they were too far away find themselves rattled, their buildings gashed, and their people frightened. After the shaking, don't go back inside. Even if your building is still standing, its structural integrity could be compromised. Always check official advisories. If you're near the coast, move to higher ground, because a quake of this size can generate tsunamis. Magnitude level 8.0 to 8.9. The continent shudders. This isn't destruction, it's transformation. Level 8 earthquakes are rare, but when they strike, they redraw maps. The 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake, magnitude 9.1, but more on that soon, started with an 8.6 foreshock. In minutes, the seafloor ripped open, releasing more energy than all the bombs dropped in World War II combined. And that was just the beginning. At level 8, entire tectonic plates rupture. We're talking about displacements of meters in the Earth's crust. Towns disappear, mountains shift, massive landslides are triggered hundreds of miles away, railways curl like spaghetti. In Chile, in 2010, a level 8.8 quake unleashed a tsunami that reached Japan 18,000 kilometers away, and it shortened Earth's day by 1.26 microseconds. Yes, it literally changed the planet's rotation. If you survive the initial quake, you're not out of danger. Landslides, fires, dam collapses, and tsunami threats follow closely. Have a go bag ready with essentials: flashlight, water, radio, first aid kit. Your survival in the next 72 hours could depend on it. Magnitude level 9.0 to 9.9. Very few humans in history have experienced this level of violence and lived to describe it. The 2011 Tohoku earthquake in Japan registered at 9.1. The ground shifted over 50 meters in some places. It wasn't just an earthquake, it was an extinction-level simulation for a small region of Earth. The tsunami that followed reached heights of 40 meters. Imagine a 13-story wall of water tearing through the countryside, dragging cars, trains, and entire buildings out to sea. The Fukushima nuclear disaster? Triggered by this very event. Everything breaks. Airports sink. Nuclear plants go offline. Communications are cut. The shaking lasts minutes, not seconds. That's enough time for people to scream, pray, and sometimes fall silent, resigned to fate. The dead aren't just casualties. They become statistics so large they lose their meaning. Every earthquake above level 9 becomes a global event. News outlets scramble to verify footage because the destruction looks like special effects. In the rare chance you face a level 9 event, immediate evacuation is your only hope. If on the coast, don't wait for a warning. Move to the highest ground possible. Stay away from rivers too. Tsunamis travel upstream. Magnitude level 10.0 plus. A level 10 earthquake has never been recorded, and many scientists doubt Earth's crust could even sustain such a release of energy. But theoretically, it's possible. If a massive fault line ruptured end to end, say, the entire Pacific Ring of Fire letting go in one simultaneous event. This wouldn't be a local disaster. It would be a planet-wide catastrophe. We're talking about entire coastlines crumbling into the sea, cities thousands of miles apart, reduced to rubble and sink, transcontinental shockwaves, volcanic systems could be destabilized, tsunamis taller than skyscrapers racing toward every ocean-facing nation. Infrastructure, from satellites to internet backbones, would face massive disruption. Skyscrapers would snap in half, dams would burst, nuclear plants might not have protocols for this level of stress, and tectonic stress released on this scale could trigger secondary events, volcanic eruptions, landslides, or even alter Earth's axial tilt. There is no protocol for a level 10 quake. Your best preparation isn't physical, it's institutional. Advocate for disaster readiness in your community. Push for better building codes. Support international seismic monitoring. Because when the unimaginable becomes real, only collective action stands between us and collapse. The ground beneath us holds secrets older than time, sometimes quiet, sometimes furious. But in every rumble, there's a reminder: we don't control the earth, we only live on it. Stay ready, stay grounded, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.